The former Sierra Leonean President Ernest Bai Koroma has been offered temporary exile in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. It's part of a deal brokered by the regional bloc, the Economic Community of West African States. Koroma has been charged with treason over a failed coup in November when gunmen attacked a military barracks and a prison, freeing around 2,000 inmates and killing more than 20 people. He will leave on Thursday if the deal is approved by the Sierra Leonean president. Let's bring in Ibrahim Al-Bakri Niaye, the director of the Dukour Institute for the Social and Economic Research in Monrovia in Liberia. He joins us from there. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. So still, there is an if. It does require this approval. What are the chances, do you think, of this deal going through, and what are the consequences if it does?
Well, the situation in Sierra Leone is getting quite dicey, and this will mean that President Koroma will not live in Sierra Leone and enjoy the perks and benefits of a former president enjoyed within the soils of Sierra Leone, but rather he is to enjoy this in Nigeria, because the deal is requesting that he be moved to Nigeria and then gets the entitlement while in Nigeria.
And what are the stakes in Sierra Leone? I mean, what is the potential sort of tensions that might be exacerbated by this if it doesn't happen?
Well, it's not likely to resolve the current tension in Sierra Leone, because what is happening in Sierra Leone is now beyond the politics. It's now driving into ethnicity. The two political parties are starkly divided between the north and the south of the country. So President Koroma's exit is not just seen as a former president implicated in a coup attempt, but he's seen now as a leader of an ethnic bloc or a regional bloc who's been targeted. And so rather than reviewing the evidence around this case, those who support President Koroma from the northern part of the country rather interpret this as a target on their own political leader. And so this is a situation that must be managed to preserve the peace in Sierra Leone, and requires a lot of negotiations, a lot of dialogues for stability. Even President Koroma himself needs to speak to the country and explain to his people what is happening, and assure them of his commitment to the legal process, and encourage them to support the peace process, because this situation could potentially degenerate into ethnic crisis in Sierra Leone, which has happened already over the past few months. Many politicians from the north or those from the south see this as a crisis between the northern part of the country and the southern part of the country, rather than a national process or a legal process adjudicating or investigating a coup attempt that failed on November 26.
I mean, some observers might think that, a court case where all of this is evaluated and assessed and adjudicated upon might be what is required to get to the bottom of it. But you're saying that the potential for divisions being further wedged apart by such a court case, it could be very dangerous compared to some kind of political smoothing over as we're seeing here.
Indeed, and that's because of the political context, the social context of what is happening. President Koroma doesn't represent a political ideology. He's representing a political party that is representing an ethnic bloc. That's the reality of Sierra Leone. Similarly, President Bio is not representing any political ideology. He's the head of the Sierra Leone People's Party, which presents itself as the political formation representing the southern part of the country. And so this has to be engaged from a position of social cohesion and engagement that facilitates dialogue to integrate both parts of the country politically and socially, though we are not dismissing the fact that the government of Sierra Leone has the right to investigate the criminal nature of this case. The government has the right to do so. The Constitution and all laws of Sierra Leone must take effect. But beyond that, there is need for greater dialogue and negotiation in Sierra Leone among the two political factions, so as to establish a condition for peace moving forward in Sierra Leone.
All right, Ibrahim Al-Bakri Niaye joining us there from Monrovia in Liberia. Thank you very much for your time this evening.